Good afternoon and welcome to the first ever virtual summer send-off series hosted by the University of Miami's Broward County Canes community. My name is Tony Segreto, a proud alum, and it is my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you, the incoming students and families joining us today. Now, before we get started, I'd like to share a few logistics with you to ensure that you each get the most from today's conversation. The chat feature is available should you wish to introduce yourself to your fellow students and families. Please feel free to use that throughout the conversation. You can also use the Q&A feature to ask us a question, especially to our guest speakers. Now, the program will also include both student and alumni speakers, but it'll also give you opportunities to interact with us, including asking questions, testing your UM trivia knowledge, and helping you meet your incoming class. Now, for that UM trivia, we will be using Kahoot to record your responses, so make sure you have another device handy so that you can join in on the fun there. You can download that Kahoot app, of course, and we'll let you know when it's time to use it. So let's get started. The University of Miami supports the almost 190,000 living alumni throughout the country and the world. With more than 30 Canes communities globally, which represent alumni families and supporters of the University of Miami, trust me, you will have absolutely no trouble staying connected to the university through every stage of your life, whether you need career advice or opportunities to network with fellow Canes, and your Canes community will always be there for you. Trust me, I've done it. It's an amazing network. Now, the university also boasts college and school-based alumni associations and a series of special constituency and affinity groups, including the UM Black Alumni Society and the LGBTQ Canes as examples. These groups all work very closely with student organizations on campus and offer support, mentorship, and of course, an opportunity for you to join once you graduate. You know, summer send-off is a University of Miami tradition that welcomes incoming freshmen and transfer students along with their families to the UM community. Certainly, it's a lot different this year, but it's still an opportunity to connect with other students and parents and alumni from your area and serves as a welcome to the Canes network of which you are now a part of. Thanks for taking the time to learn about the extensive Canes network that you're officially joining today. I'm thrilled to see that we have incoming students joining us today from all over the country. With more than 2,400 first-year students from more than 40 states and 50 countries joining us this fall, we received a record number of first-year applications, topping 40,000. So needless to say, congratulations on being a part of one of the most competitive and diverse classes in University of Miami history. We also have more than 500 transfer students joining us this fall. And this afternoon, we have parents and families joining us from all over the country, welcoming you to the University of Miami.
Your story is just beginning. Now is the time. Learn. Get involved. Be adventurous. Celebrate success. Embrace tradition. Challenge convention. Discover your passion. Bleed orange and green. Write your story.
As you can see, this is your time to shine, to write your unique story and to add absolutely more information and more stories to our Canes network. This is a blank canvas for all of you. This is an amazing time. These next 4 years will be your most memorable, trust me. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our moderator for this afternoon. He's a great young man. He's a dear friend, Adrian Nunez. Adrian is a graduate from the Miami Herbert Business School. That happened in 2018. He's a member of our prestigious Iron Arrow. And as a student, he served as Sebastian, the ibis. And now as an alumnus, he He works at the University of Miami as the Community Engagement Coordinator in the Office of Government and Community Relations. And I'm sure if you ask him in the chat or the Q&A, he may do a little IBIS act for you. Adrian, it's always great to see you, young man. Thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Tony. It's a pleasure to be here with you and great to share the screen with a legend like yourself. And I want to tell the audience a big thank you to Tony, who has been instrumental in our town halls that we've been hosting through the university over the past couple of months as we try to get as accurate of information out with our university community as possible. So thank you for that. And as Tony mentioned, I work in our Office of Government and Community Relations, focused on local efforts. But 6 years ago, I was in similar shoes as many of you, getting ready to start at the university at our Miami Herbert Business School. And so I want you to all join us in the chat and let me know what school or college you're going to be attending when you join us, whether it's the business school or another one of our fabulous schools or colleges. Start us off in the chat and let us know where you're going to be going. And I see someone going to the Marine campus already, so that's great. I want to hear some more or see some more in there. I had a great time as a student, especially being from Miami originally, staying in my home community and being able to share with the University of Miami. I got involved in student government, orientation, and homecoming. But by far, my most fulfilling involvement was definitely being Sebastian the IBIS. It was truly a blast being able to travel all over the country and be able to be on the end zone or on the court for some of our greatest athletic events. So it's great to live, breathe, and bleed now as an employee. And being a part of the alumni network has been great, being able to go to any city and connect with some alumni who's living there now. Our network, as you saw from the map that Tony showed, is extensive. And anywhere you're coming from or anywhere you're going, you're bound to find a cane. So make sure you throw up the U, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. So to begin, I want to introduce our illustrious panel. And it's going to be first Matt Bakehausen, who graduated from the University of Miami's Business School in 1991, where he attended on an Army ROTC scholarship, which is great. We did a lot of good work with the GI Bill once it was passed at the University of Miami. And he served his time at the university also as the director of the ZIF Graduate Career Center in the business school from 2002 to 2005. Now, Matt grew up in Ohio, so I'm curious to hear his thoughts on the 2002 college football championship and what happened there, but I have my own thoughts on that. Currently, he serves as the president of the Broward County Canes community, and he's a member of our Citizens Board. So I want you all to welcome and give a virtual round of applause to Matt Bakehausen.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for that introduction, Adrian. I'll start off by addressing that Ohio State football game comment. Obviously we were robbed. Everybody knows that. But I will say that when I go back home, it's really a subject that does not get brought up because my brother and my mother are both Ohio State alumni. So it's a very contentious topic, and we try to avoid it during football season. But anyways, that's part of what you're getting into here at the University of Miami. There's a lot of spirit. It's going to be a lifelong tradition and support for the Canes, and something you'll enjoy with your own family. So let me start by saying on behalf of the Alumni Association and the Broward Canes community, welcome to all the incoming students. You made a great choice. And again, this is going to be a lifelong affiliation with the university. Also, welcome to all the parents. You're a part of this too, and you're a part of the family now. And we look forward to engaging with you as well. I wanted to give a special shout out to Karen Riley. I think she's in attendance here, and Karen and I went to school together. And I understand her son Scott is incoming student now. So welcome, Scott. And I'm always excited to see that family tradition carried on when we get multiple generations of Canes. So again, welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about the Broward Canes before we go further into the program. So the Broward Canes community is the alumni chapter for Broward County, Florida. And outside of Miami-Dade, we have the largest group of alumni in the country with 16,000 alumnus. We have a great executive board with very diverse backgrounds, both personally and professionally, and coming from a variety of graduation years. I believe we have a couple of our board members on tonight. Scott Sadowski, 04 grad, currently with Gabelli and Company, and Ken Graff, a double alum with IBM, and also co-owner of Canesware, so check them out. But we have a great board, and we're very focused on expanding the programming for the Canes community here in Broward, and just like the other communities around the country, focus on a variety of areas that we can continue engagement with the university and our local communities. So that's focused on one, our community involvement. So supporting our annual Canes Day of Service, getting involved with civic activities. Here, for instance, we'll be supporting food drives. There's a group that regularly gets involved with beach cleanup activities, and anything that we can really make an impact in the community and give back. We're also ambassadors for the university, really being promoting what's going on at the university, whether that's athletically through game watch parties or letting everyone know about the various events and activities going on. We also support networking, both personal and professional, through global networking nights, Canes Biz Meets and Greets, industry panel discussions. For example, in early September, the Broward Canes will be, in conjunction with the School of Business, will be having a virtual program discussing the current economy and COVID impact here in Broward County, and just finding ways to connect you with others in the community. Education is a focus as well, and we try to find ways to bring the worldwide experts from the University of Miami into our local community, whether through virtual programs or other roundtables and events, to really hear from them about topics that are important to us, whether it's social justice or climate change or the economy. There's a wealth of information and expertise at the university, and we want to facilitate bringing that into our community. And finally, it's about giving back and support for our students in the university. So we have a focus on fundraising. The Broward Canes have established a local scholarship for Broward County students. Last year, we were able to award $10,000 in scholarships. And a big focus this year is to really increase the funding for that and take it to the next level and continue that on into future years. We also support the annual Canes Giving Day, as well as some other events like Dolphins Cancer Challenge. So we tried to take a very broad-based approach to connecting, engaging, and support. And look, we look forward to working with all of you, the incoming students and parents. And finally, before I turn it back to Adrian, I just want to offer my availability to help out any of our students or parents. Feel free to reach out to me directly if you're here in Broward County. If there's something I can assist with, happy to do that. If I don't have the answers for you, I'll certainly get you connected with the right people to help you out. So again, welcome. Thank you for spending the time today, and I'll turn it back to Adrian.
Great, thank you so much, Matt, and thank you for serving the Broward Canes community and the great work that you're doing there. I also want to give a shout out to good friend Ken Graff, who I saw is on the line, and Canesware is a great small business in our community supporting the University of Miami brand, and Ken has been doing great work supporting some local organizations as well, so thank you for what you're doing. Next up, I want to bring up a good friend of mine, Mr. Mike Piacentino. And I saw many of you in the chat talking about being a part of the School of Communication. Tony Segreto and Mike, both graduates from our School of Communication. So great insight here that we're gonna get. Mike graduated in 2014 with his bachelor's, and again in 2018 with his master's. And I met him right when I started as a student. He's a proud member of Iron Arrow Honor Society as well, and has stuck around and stayed on campus and is now our manager in student affairs for communications and development. So welcome, Mike. Always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Good to see you always, and Tony as well, my fellow school communication alumnus. So good to see you both. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight at our virtual summer send-off. As Adrian mentioned, I can certainly remember where I was in your shoes now about 10 years ago, looking at the start to my college career and remembering all of the excitement, a little bit of the anxiety, and overall just sort of looking forward to the next chapter ahead. Briefly, my story of when I was a student on campus, I was a student in the School of Communication, also was heavily involved in student government, did a lot of work with our volunteer services center, the Butler Center on campus, working with our Relay for Life, and a variety of other involvements on campus, which led me to find what's the Division of Student Affairs, which is where I work today as the communications manager for the division. A lot of folks may wonder what Student Affairs is, and we're really the division on campus that is there to help you write your campus story, as the video alluded to earlier. Student Affairs has a variety of different campus offices and departments that hosts the many different programs, services, and facilities that you all will be using as students on campus. So pretty much everything that goes on outside of the classroom. Our 300+ student organizations, the variety of campus events and activities, the magnificent Shalala Student Center, campus housing, the Wellness Center, Student Health, Counseling Center, all those areas, just to name a few, all are what kind of fall under the Division of Student Affairs. And our approach and our really philosophy to everything that we do on campus, and you'll hear many other folks talk about it, and I'm sure you'll hear more about it tonight as well, is really a philosophy of Canes caring for Canes. You know, from the time that you are now, before you're even stepped foot on our campus, to well after, when you're an alum and you're part of our Canes community, we look out for one another. Canes really do care for Canes. The division as a whole organizes our work around 4 different priorities that I just want to briefly mention, just to, again, kind of give you an idea of who we are and what we do. Our first priority among all else is student well-being and resiliency. Especially now, I think it's safe to say that all of our well-being as a community is being more prevalent than it's ever been before. The impact that we all have on one another has become paramount in the news, and that is certainly something that we are supportive of and instill in students while on campus, helping themselves be well, but also be productive members of a society. Our second priority is diversity and inclusion, ensuring that all folks can be represented and heard on a variety of different initiatives on campus. You even saw President Frank has put out recently 15 key actions that we're going to take as a university to continue to enhance and improve on our diversity and inclusion efforts. The third is transition and connection, which is exactly what events like tonight are all about, helping students transition into their Canes community, connect with their Canes community, and then even transition out of the Canes community. So what does that entire life cycle of a University of Miami Hurricane look like? Our student affairs, again, programming, services, and facilities are all designed to help students support that. And then our final pillar is student engagement. So what does your life look like when you're on campus? Yes, you are here to get a degree, learn wonderful things from our outstanding faculty in all of our different schools and colleges, but simply going to class and going home, or going to class and going back to your room on campus, is not enough for a Miami Hurricane. There are countless different opportunities, all sorts of events, programs, student-run, student-led initiatives to get involved with on campus. And again, our division is really here to help support and foster that, and ensure that as you get involved in those activities, you can translate them into those skills that will help you when you leave campus. And lastly, I want to touch on sort of the obvious of everything that's been going on and why we're doing this virtually is the COVID-19 pandemic. As Adrian alluded to, Tony has been wonderful work with our campus leaders in hosting a variety of virtual town halls. I hope you've been able to watch those. And that's really where we're going to direct everyone to for a lot of their questions and think topics about the COVID-19 pandemic. There's the university's coronavirus.miami.edu website that you can see a link to in the chat. That will give you all the latest information. I don't want to get too much into things tonight. Things change so rapidly. So I think tonight we can keep it focused on sort of getting to know a bit more about our stories, hearing about your stories, and how you can get connected to the campus community. But know that we are certainly doing everything we can to respond to this pandemic and have a variety of information available on websites and being sent through emails that can hopefully answer all of your questions. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to Adrian so we can get on with the rest of the program.
Thank you so much, Mike. And like I've mentioned before, as a student, I worked closely with the Division of Student Affairs, so I know Mike and his team are working around the clock getting ready for this academic year and for our students. Next, I want to bring up a fellow Miami native, Natalia Torres. I went to Coral Reef Senior High School. For those of you who are on that are from Miami, let me know where you went to high school or where you're coming from. And I'm going to let her tell you where she went to high school, but she joined us from Miami-Dade College, and she's in the class of 2022, majoring in biology and minoring with a beautiful complement in health management and policy. So that's great. And she's very involved on campus. I don't know how she does all of it, involved with Homecoming Executive Committee, Category 5, which is our Spirit Programming Board on campus for athletics, Hurricane Productions, another programming board. And most of all, Presidents 100, our campus ambassadors, our students who are the cream of the crop, here to tell you and welcome you to the university. So Natalia, take it away.
Everyone, welcome to the University of Miami. I'm so glad to see so many of you guys here. I've been seeing some of you guys are here from Miami as well. Shout out to my alumni from Miami-Dade College, either any one of their campuses. I did transfer recently, so this would be complete my first year at the University of Miami. Like many of you here tonight, I know you're nervous, anxious, excited. You're on the roller coaster of so many emotions, but I promise you, once we kick things off now in August, everything will settle in, I promise. Like many of you, I was sitting at home back summer and I was like really excited to join UM. I read so many different opportunities that waited for me at the U. I saw so many webinars, and then I said, this is the place I'm gonna call home for the next 2 years, 3 years. I would be a fifth year senior. And once I stepped foot at the U during my first week of orientation, I fell in love completely. I felt like, yes, this is my second home. There's so many different opportunities once you step in at the university during your first week during orientation. That is the foundation. It opens the doors to so many opportunities. You're gonna get so much information. You're gonna meet so many student leaders as well as leaders at the university. It's a great way to start networking. That's how I started networking. That's how I landed actually my first job at the university with the Department of Orientation Commuter Students. Shout out to my commuter students and OCSI. They opened up my doors to opportunities such as finding a new love for designing. Even though I'm a biology student, I have worked on different projects at the Office of Orientation. So that's a really cool experience. I do want to invite you guys all to start reading on your emails to learn more about Cane Fest. As Mike mentioned earlier, there are over 300 student organizations that you can join. I always recommend joining 3. I know Adrian mentioned a few that I'm part of. Those are my top 3 that I usually do. My favorite one that when I first got to university, I wanted to join is Presidents 100. We are student ambassadors. Some of you guys, maybe you might have come on our tours at the university. You may have seen me or my fellow P100 ambassadors as well. And we're just always there to welcome. We're always so excited to share our stories with you, our experiences, what we've done so far at the university and what the university can offer to you as well. But other than that, I feel like an advice to all of you guys I like sharing is that the University of Miami, as Mike mentioned earlier, we have Canes care for Canes. You'll hear that saying so many different times, especially during this time between our professors, students, and staff. We're always so united. And from there, we start doing network opportunities. I know with one of my professors I'm very close to, and she's always informing me with everything that's going on right now with COVID-19 and different opportunities I can have later on in my future career. As well as the advisors, they're always recommending me to try out new things, which is why I had a minor in health management and policies. So it gives also the biology component and the policy side of medicine. But that would be all. So we're gonna go back to Adrian and we'll continue our program.
Thank you so much, Natalia. Great to hear about your experience. And with that, I want to invite you all to ask your questions in our Q&A function here on the program. And I'm going to turn it back over to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Tony Segredo, to lead us through our Q&A with our insightful panel. Thank you.
Adrian, thank you very much. And we're going to start with our panel. Matt, I'm going to start this with you. I know how impactful it's been for me. And I am, by the way, Adrian, I'm extremely thankful that when you introduced Mike and you told everyone his graduating year, you did not mention my graduating year. I'm very thankful for that. But I can recall that being in your shoes today. But through those years, the Canes Network has been my lifesaver in many ways. Matt, how has the Canes Network impacted your life while a student and now as an alum?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Tony. Great question. And I have lots of stories, but there's one that stands out. And as Adrian mentioned, I attended on an Army ROTC scholarship, and I was assigned into the Army Reserves upon graduation. So I couldn't look for work immediately because I had to attend my officer basic course in Fort Knox for 4 months. And so I graduated, and then when I came back to South Florida in 1992 after my training, that's when I started looking for a job. And I was doing it on my own. I was sending in resumes, applying for jobs, walking into businesses and applying. And I went into SunTrust Banks. They had a great management training program. And I applied in person. And a week later, I got a very polite rejection letter saying, sorry, we're not interested. And then one day I remembered that the university had a career center. And I stopped in and I spoke to Linda Rump, the director at the time, and told her my situation. And as an alumni, she allowed me to apply for some of the positions that companies were recruiting for there. And one of those companies just happened to be SunTrust Banks, recruiting for their management training program. And so I applied through the university, got an interview, and was ultimately hired by SunTrust for that management training program. And it just still sticks with me that, when I walked in the door and applied on my own, no interest at all. But through the university, and now as an alumni, in my first year, I was able to apply and be considered. And they wouldn't even talk to me without the university's involvement. So right away in 1992, a year after I graduated, I really benefited from the power of being alum, an alum with the university and using the resources, even though I had already graduated. And so I think it's just a great way to showcase that this is a lifelong resource for you. And later, as I worked with the university, I saw that again and again with our alumni, being able to connect.
Hey, Matt, we just had this question come in specifically for you. Can I join the ROTC program at while being in the Air Force Reserve?
Yeah, great question. So I can give a partial answer to that. One, yes. So while I was in the ROTC program, we did have other students who were currently serving in the National Guard Reserve and the Army Reserve, et cetera. So yes, so you can be enlisted in the military and still serve in ROTC. The only question I don't know is, whether the Air Force's specific policies. I was in the Army. I assume it's similar, but certainly, stop by on campus, stop by the office or call and ask, and they can certainly help you out. I think the answer is yes, but you got to talk to the experts there.
Thanks, Matt. Natalia, why did you decide to serve? You talked about this for a moment. Why did you decide to serve as the member of the President's 100? And then what experience have you gained from this role?
So when I first found out about President's 100, I did my first tour at and I met the tour guide and I asked her, hey, how did you get involved in this? This is so interesting to me. And she was like, when you come back on campus, once you start your fall semester at Cane Fest, find a table and see if the advisors are present and talk to them more about it. So once I attended Cane Fest, I talked to them. They told me, we're opening applications, sign up, and we'll see you there. So once I signed up, I read through everything. Not only does giving a tour and feeling like I can help parents feel welcomed and the students at the university, I can also serve as someone that if they have any questions, do they want to hear about stories? What have I learned from the university? Any connections, they can come to me and I can always answer with pure honesty. Any curiosities they can have about Miami. I am from Miami, so a lot of parents always ask me, how's student life here? What do you do? And I tell them, of course, I'm always here on campus studying. I'm always studying, and there's so many events on campus. Why do I have to leave? And you form even your own little family there. Again, Canes care for Canes always. From Presence 100, importantly, I've gotten so many networking opportunities. Through the advisors, I've been able to meet other faculty and staff, and they've also helped me find other opportunities at the university, whether through the Topple Career Center, which is a great resource. I always go to them to help them with my resume. They can help me with my resume. I'm also seeing if I want to switch my major as well, so that's also really interesting. So they've helped me with that. But it just opens up more doors so you can meet other people at the university as well.
Natalia, thank you. Mike, you know, Matt kind of touched on this, all the opportunities that are there, all the clubs you can join. You really did touch on it in a more profound way in terms of telling students it's really up to them. And I think we should kind of bring that home even more, because we have all these resources, but unless the student takes the step forward to join and be a part of, it just won't enrich their experience over the 4 years. So tell us how you think the students will be able to enjoy student life safely during the current environment. And I know we've been asked a lot about the kickoff. So let's get some insight on that.
Sure. So I'll start with our Cane Kickoff orientation program is the one, you know, we call it at the university as Cane Kickoff. The schedule for that was actually just released today via Guidebook. So if you've already downloaded Guidebook, it's the app that you download on your phone. You can now go in and log in and see the schedule. We organized it by school or college track. So you would just, in the menu, just pick what school or college you belong to, and that'll give you your full list of programs. A lot of them will be virtual. We are also doing some social in-person outdoor programs where we can safely physically distance and do all the things that we need to do. And one of the things that we're trying this year, which, you know, we're excited about, is a virtual Cane Fest. So we're actually going to have all of our 300 plus student orgs will all be doing via Zoom organization fair. So that's how students can find and get connected with the student organizations. And like we said, it's up to you all. It's up to you as an individual student to kind of make the choice for yourself what you're going to get involved in it and how you're going to connect with fellow students. Canes do care for Canes. We'll keep saying that. And as Natalia mentioned, students are here to support you and will certainly reach out to you and help in any way. But we also can't do it for you, right? And so speak up, find things that you're interested in. There are interests and activities for everyone to get involved in. All you have to do is just take that step. The doors are always open. The folks are always here and willing to listen and get connected with you and support you in any way they can. So don't, if you have any questions, you know, don't suffer in silence, right? Folks are here for you. We're all very, very well connected, as you can tell. Folks, even just here, all know each other through various different connections and all been involved in different things. So even if one of us can't answer the question for you, we know the person who can and can get you connected. You just have to know, you know, just be comfortable speaking out and ask for help and find ways to get connected to campus.
You know, I think it's important to understand that while it's important to get all your credits, it's important to make just as many connections. And I think that that's vital, because this really will help catapult you into the next stage of your life. I do want to ask all of you, just real quickly, before we move to our next segment, what is your most memorable moment on campus that you can share with us real quickly? Natalia, I'm gonna defer to you first. What moment can you instantly recall that has stuck with you during your 4 years?
Oh, it's been such a small time. There's so many memories. It's really hard to pick. But if I had to pick, was when I first walked into the office where I first started my job, the Department of Orientation, Community Student Involvement. The staff there, just so amazing. They welcomed me like if they knew me, just one-on-one. We just all clicked between Stephanie Fleitas, Ashley Morning, Michael Baumhart, and Anthony Bocado. We started cracking jokes, and they're like, what are you interested in? And I was like, oh, medicine. They're like, oh, we know someone. We'll connect you right away. Just go talk to them. They're right down the hall by the student org suite. And just there, I was like, this is second home to me. Any question I have, they somehow have the answer to it. It's like Google right there in front of me. It's such a good opportunity. And I met so many of my close friends. Ironically, my best friend and I transferred to the University of Miami. He's in the School of Erasmus. So we just always bump heads there once we have free time. But honestly, it's just been a blast. That's been one of my first memorable, and I just thank them every single day for welcoming me into their office.
Matt?
Yeah, so I guess, man, so many memories were going through my mind when you asked that question. First, I guess technically not on campus, but it was really the first football game I went to. I had never been to a college football game before, and this was back in the Orange Bowl in 1991, the University of Miami against University of Florida, and it was just a mind-blowing experience, not just from the nature of the athletic event, but just to see the energy and the passion that people had for the University of Miami was just incredible, absolutely incredible. And so fun, but also just really, again, mind-blowing, and we'll never forget it. We'll never forget that day ever.
Mike.
So again, like everyone had mentioned, there's so many memories that go through your head, and mine is maybe a bit mundane, but even at the University of Miami, the mundane can become a memory. And it was that first night when I lived in Hecht. I was a Hecht Residential College resident. Oh yeah, heck yeah. And the first night when we moved in, it was probably, I don't know, 20 of us up until about 3 o'clock in the morning, just standing in the hallway, sitting on the floor, just talking to each other, getting to know people, from all over the country. Even on just one single residential college floor, there was about 30 of us that were from across the country, some from Florida that decided to live on campus, some as far away as California, even a student from Austria who is still my friend today. And so all of us just hanging out, talking to each other. And our biggest stresses at the time were, making what we're going to wear the next day to our first orientation event. And now look at what we're all doing in life. And so to me, that's definitely a memory that sticks out. Just of how wonderful it was. But like, yes, this is the right community to be a part of. And only if I only knew then what I knew now about what the next 4 years of life would be like on campus, it was certainly a special time.
Mike, thank you. And Adrian, as I get ready to throw it to you, I do want to say, as for me, you start collecting memories over the years, and especially in my case, over many, many years. But one of the things that always stuck with me when I first came to campus is that, and it especially applies now more than ever, with only 2,400 students selected out of over 40,000 applicants. We're all coming from a very competitive high school environment where we needed to be at the top of our class. What struck me when I came to campus was how all these A personalities and these high achieving young men and women, we were all told to be collaborative, to work together, to help each other, to look out for each other. It's not only Canes care for Canes in our environment as alum, Canes care for Canes while you're a Cane on campus, while you're still in school. So I think that's one of the lasting memories that will stick with me. And that's why I'm so proud to wear the colors that I do and say where I graduated from, because it was a true collaborative experience between students and parents as well. I think it was an amazing time. Adrian, I know it's time for trivia.
That's right, it is, Tony. And thank you for that. And thank you to our panelists for that wonderful Q&A. And I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege and talk about my favorite memory at the U, and that is being Sebastian the Ibis, of course, as I mentioned earlier. And we talk about community, and there's nothing like community at what Matt would have been at the Orange Bowl, but is now Hard Rock Stadium for us. And, in 2017, we hosted ESPN Game Day on campus, which was an out-of-this-world experience. And that night, we played Notre Dame at Hard Rock Stadium, and I was able to run out the team as Sebastian the Ibis. And there's nothing that I could explain to you is like those goosebumps of running out at full speed. It's not that fast, but as fast as I can. But the team coming behind you, and there's nothing like that exhilarating experience. So I'm going to turn it over to our team over here, and they're going to take you through who will be your best friend on campus, Sebastian the Ibis. That's awesome. I get chills every time watching it and thinking back to my days as Sebastian. And now, as a summer send-off, we really want to prepare you all for coming to campus and have you a step ahead with knowing a little bit more about the U than maybe some of your other classmates. So we're going to turn it over to Kahoot now, as we mentioned earlier in the program. So grab that device that you're going to use and you're going to go to kahoot.it and you're going to enter 575288. And we are going to get started. I'm going to give you some time to go ahead and log in there with the game pin, and I'll wait for you all. I see some people joining already. Yvette, Gabby, Alex. All right, we're joining quick. Great. And I'll give you all some time to jump in there. Even if you're a parent, I want you to show off your knowledge of the U. Show these students how it's done. Jump in there with us. All right, Nate, thanks for joining us. Brianna, great to see you on there. Matt, awesome. Hanky. All right, I'll give you all a couple of more seconds to jump in there. 575288 is the game pin. Just drop it in there at kahoot.it, and we're gonna get started in just a second. All right, Adina, thank you for joining us. Lou. Kayla's dad, I have a lot of hope for you on this one, so I hope you know your U trivia. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and get started on that. I hope you were all able to join. All right, summer send-off, here we go. Your first question in 2, 1, and which of these was the first name of the mascot? All right, is it Sebastian? Is it Icky? Is it Ike? Is it the duck? You can go ahead and answer there. I see everyone answering quickly. All right, 5 seconds left. Answer that. Let's see how many of you got this one right. All right, pretty evenly split on choices, but Icky was the right answer. And as you saw in the video, Sebastian has gone through several iterations. And now he's looking good, but there's some times there where, you know, our students were making those costumes, and so he's gone through it. And with that, we'll move on. Let's see who's in the lead now. All right, Hanky's leading the charge with 9:05. They answered quick. We're gonna move to the next question now. All right, which of these was the first university president? Is it Chad Foote, second? Layla? Stanford. We have about 5 seconds left to answer there. And it seems like everyone's getting in pretty quick with these answers. And let's see what we've got. All right, 10 people on there with Bowman Foster Ash. And I know everyone thought of Stanford there, a good chunk there, but Dr. Bowman Foster Ash is the winner. Back in 1925, the university was chartered in conjunction with the city of Coral Gables, and Dr. Bowman Foster Ash served the university until 1952, where the university went through ups and downs, but he stabilized it, and he is known as one of our great leaders at the university. And Dr. Julio Frank is our 6th president at the university, and he's been doing a great job as a public health expert leading us through this global pandemic. So with that, we'll move on to the next question, and I want to see if Hanky still has the lead. And Gabby came up and is now leading at 19-14, and we'll go to the next question. All right, a couple more chances to get in there. What is the significance of the ibis? Is it purity because it's white? Is it the long beak that makes it resourceful, as all canes are? Or is it the last to leave and first to return after a storm? You have about 5 seconds to answer that. I think everyone's pretty much in there. All right, let's see what we have. Yeah, 40 of you decided that it is the last to leave and first to return after a storm. And Egyptian folklore idolizes the ibis, and it is known as the last to leave before a major storm and first to return. And The Miami Hurricanes, born out of a huge hurricane in 1926, reclaimed it and made the ibis our mascot. All right, we'll move to the next question, and I want to see who's in the lead. Okay, Chrisanne, I don't know what that means, but it seems like you're doing pretty well, but Gabby is still in the lead, and we'll go to the last question. Let's see if Gabby can hold on. Why are the used colors orange, green, and white? Is it because of the orange tree? Is it the southern sunset on Biscayne's wondrous shores? Or is it to match the Miami Dolphins? And you have about 5 seconds to jump in there with your answer. A couple people left. All right, let's see. What did everyone say? The orange tree. We had a good number of you think it was the southern sunset, which is a good guess and a snippet of our alma mater, but the orange tree, of course, orange for the fruit, green for the leaves, and white for the blossoms. Thus, orange, white, and green are the used colors. And with that, I want to see who our winner is of today's summer send-off Kahoot. Is it Gabby? All right, we have T. Torres in third place. Is Chrisanne in second place? And Gabby stuck it out in first place with 4,153 points. Thank you all for playing. And you will get to campus and know just a little bit more than others about the U. And these are things that you'll learn over your time at the U. And with that, I'm gonna invite Natalia to come back on camera. And at the U and around the country, around the globe, the most famous of logos is our U. And I want Natalia to help me show our students and families how to throw up the U. You see nice tight fingers, thumbs together. We don't want to see anything like this, any Utah, Wisconsin, things like this. Really nice and tight, beautiful U's. And that's how you're going to do it. And with that, in athletics events, when our teams are performing at their highest, you'll see Sebastian go out into the middle of the court or into the middle of the field and do the cane spell out. And so I'm going to turn it to our team to show you a quick video of what that is so you all can be ready when you get to athletics events.
Sebastian the Ibis is the official mascot of the Miami Hurricanes. The ibis is a native Florida bird and is last to leave before a hurricane and first to return after a storm, making the ibis a symbol of strength and resilience. You can find our ibis, Sebastian, around campus in athletic events where you can be seen performing the cane spell out. Let's break it down. When Sebastian gets low, raise your arms, shake your hands, and say, "Oh." Then when Sebastian signals, we'll all spell canes together. C-A-N-E-S, canes. Let's try it together slowly. Ready, Sebastian? Oh, C-A-N-E-S, canes. Perfect. Now let's try it together full speed. Oh, C-A-N-E-S, canes.
Awesome. So glad you all were able to see. And now you know how to do the cane spell out whenever you're at a football game, baseball game, basketball game. You'll know when Sebastian goes out there, you know what to do. And with that, I'm going to bring Tony Segreto back to lead us out of this awesome event. Thank you all for engaging with us over the past hour or so. So Tony, take us away.
Adrian, thank you. And we want to thank, we back here? There we go. I think someone has to, there you go, start my video. Here we go. And we want to thank all of you for joining us today. We hope you've all learned something about the strength of the Canes Network, that you're officially joining. As a student, an alum, or a parent, you are now family. And I hope you can see that Canes truly care for Canes. It's not just a saying we came up with. We really do care. And parents, as a parent myself, with one through college and one about to be done, give me a moment to speak frankly to you. Regardless of the societal environment we're in, sending your child away to school isn't easy. There's worry of all kinds, concerns on every level, and instructions your child just does not want to hear one more time. And considering what we are going through, the angst now I know is palpable. Trust me from my heart. This hurricane family is beyond well prepared for what we're going through. They have dotted every I, and they have crossed every T, just to make sure and to assure you that your student is in a safe environment. Regardless, we know you're going to worry. But breathe and trust that we truly are taking care and watching out for your children. If you have concerns, let us know. But I also learned you can't be a helicopter parent. Problems are going to come up. Our children are adults. They need to work them out. And students, all your mom and dad want is for you to thrive, have a good time, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay in touch. Communicate with them, share with them. A text, that's all it takes. You know, this is going to be an amazing 4 years if you all make it a shared experience. Parents, get involved. Enjoy it. And whether you like it or not, we're going to be with you on campus, off campus, in your hometown, well, just about anywhere you go. We support each other, we guide each other, and we warmly welcome you to the University of Miami. I want to take a moment to thank each of our featured guests today. Please join me, Matthew from Broward Canes, Adrian, our former Sebastian the IBIS, Mike, your student affairs guide, and Natalia, your fellow students. Thank you all for participating, sharing, giving us your experience, and really making everyone, we hope, feel welcome. Hey, listen, a special shout out to, I know Matt mentioned what's going on in Broward, but my friends Sergio and Harry Rothwell at the Hurricanes bookstore, and all Canes provided all the swag here. Wear my swag. Parents, you can get some really nice looking shirts. Students, when you get to campus, make sure you get your swag on. It is important. Now, it is time to say what, guys? Go Canes. We're going to throw up the U the right way, and we are saying we love having you in our family. It's all about the U.